Do your donor meetings always start out awkward? Give me the next 5 minutes and I will give you 7 foolproof strategies to build rapport with your donors and get you both laughing and enjoying time together during your meeting instead of awkwardly staring at each other for 5 seconds. If you want my perfect donor pitch template, just write me below this video and I will give it to you. Hey, if you don't know me, I'm Dan Johnson. I've raised over $3 million for nonprofits and helped over 30 entrepreneurs launch their dream nonprofit. And if you've done as many donor meetings as I have, you've probably found that the ones that go best are the ones where there's an immediate connection, an immediate spark. But the ones that don't go as well are ones where you're awkward for the first few seconds, and then the donor or you might ask an awkward question, and you have to rescue the meeting from that point. You want to build rapport immediately the minute that you enter that donor meeting, even if you've never met this person before in your entire life. And here are 7 key ways that I use to get every donor meeting off to a great start. When you just pick which one of these ways makes the most sense for you and makes the most sense for your donors, they pretty much all work across the board, but you'll find your own style. The first and my absolute favorite way to open a donor meeting is to ask how they met X person, or if that person is me and my nonprofit and they came to us, how did you hear about us? Because that reinforces that immediate connection with the donor. I might ask, how is Gary doing? If Gary introduced us and we haven't talked in a while, how is Gary doing? How did you meet Gary or get to know Gary? I will ask how they got to know the person who connected us, reinforces the connection with the donor, and creates some great conversation around our shared interest, which is Gary. Number 2 is location-based. So if I have any interest at all in the place that they live, or I have lived in a similar place, I might ask, so how long have you lived in North Carolina? Oh, wow, really? Yeah, I'm actually out of Raleigh. I've lived in North Carolina in my entire life. That can kick off 5 or 10 minutes of conversation around the location that we both share or the location we both have an interest in. Number 3 is I'll ask, how long have they worked in X industry or doing X thing? So I know that they are doing pipe fitting. How long have you been a pipe fitter? And start to go down the path of learning about their occupation, learning about where they came from. Another one of my favorite questions, number 4, is I'll ask if I know something that they're involved in. So they're actively running a company or they're running a foundation that I'm talking to. I'll ask, how did you get involved in this? My favorite question when I'm talking with other nonprofit consultants is, how did you get involved in this crazy world of nonprofits? And that always sparks a fascinating story that tells me a lot of different things about the person that I'm talking to. But you also can ask questions about how they got involved in their company, why they started their company, why they started their foundation. Any kind of those why questions are really fantastic questions to open up with. If you don't have really any way to connect with that person or anything you're really interested in, then the 5th strategy you can use is pick an impressive public accomplishment. Ideally, this is not an accomplishment that they get asked about all the time. So I don't ask like, why are you CEO of X company, or how did you become CEO of X company? What I'll ask is, it looks like you were actually on the varsity sports team at such and such high school and you won the best varsity player award. How did you end up doing that? Or I'll ask, hey, your company was rated 3 years in a row as the absolute best in customer service in our area. Like, how did you accomplish that? Asking people about their impressive accomplishments both shows that you know where they came from, you've done their research, and allows you to really dig into something they're very passionate about. If I don't have any of that and I'm just coming into a donor meeting cold, then I will often just ask about what's in their background. Especially if they have either on video, you do a lot of Zoom donor meetings. On video, they have a sign in the background from one of the places that has a place name on it, St. Clair, North Carolina, or whatever. I'll ask, how long have you been living in St. Clair? And even if they haven't been, they'll talk about it. Or their kids are in the background. How old are your kids? If they have anything besides a completely blank background, I'm probably going to ask a question about it. if I don't have any other ones to ask. And then your last resort, Hail Mary. I don't have any way, and they got a plain background or we're on the phone. And I don't have any research on this person, and I'm just going in cold. My last resort, just talk about the weather. When they ask how you're doing, and it's you give the standard response of you, whatever, don't do that. Instead, go, it doesn't matter if it's too hot or too cold or too muggy or too sunny or whatever. There's any pastime humans have enjoyed for the longest of forever. It is complaining about and or exclaiming about the weather. Throw something out there about the weather. They can talk about their weather, and then I can usually roll right into a location-based question to understand how long they've been living in Seattle, where it's always rainy. And then that can carry the conversation from there. You can use any one of those 7 ways to get your donor meeting off to a fantastic start and help you build the relationship from the first second instead of it being awkward and trying to come at it a little bit later. Hope that helps. If you want my perfect donor pitch template to handle the rest of the meeting, just write me below this and I will give it right to you.